Wow. Well, I'm actually impressed. We won a series for once. And it feels like a millennia since we won a series and taken up a team that's above 500 in the San Francisco Giants. We won this final ball game of the series by a score of 10-2, and it feels like we haven't scored double digits in a while either. I think it's been over a month since we did that. JT Realmuto had himself a nice game. He was a triple shy of the cycle. Really nice offensive game from him. Cesar Hernandez got a couple hits and a home run there. Scott Kingery won a multi-hit game after going 0 for the previous couple of games. Even Jake Arrieta getting a couple RBIs of his own. And yeah, just overall a pretty nice offensive night for the Phillies. And Jake Arrieta, like I said, was on the mound. He didn't go that deep into the ball game. He only went 4, but it was 4 nice solid innings until around when he got to the top of the 5th, where he started to struggle a little bit. So yeah, just it was thank God we had such a gigantic lead when Jake Arrieta was in the 5th, because that's when he started to make mistakes. We start to bring in the bullpen, and they back him up right then and there. So the bullpen comes in, they don't allow any runs the rest of the ball game, and that's just nice to see. We get a nice 8-run lead throughout the rest of the game, and the bullpen shuts down the door. So that's something we haven't seen in a while from this ball club. This outstanding offensive performance. We haven't seen that in like a month. And also, before this ball game, we were a half game behind the Washington Nationals for the second place in the division and also for one of the wild card spots. And we lost that opportunity to leapfrog them over in both of those standings with the loss last night. But with this win, we tie them for both places in the wild card and second place in the division. So, and the Nationals do have an off day, so there won't be any more leapfrogging today. So we won't find out who leapfrogs each other until tomorrow night's ball games. So, when the offense starts, pretty early in this ball game, we do get bases loaded in the bottom of the second inning, and it's from Maikel Franco. A couple pitches in, ball right down the middle, he gets under it and he pops up. You see him frustrated as hell, he missed a pitch to hit. So, another chance with the bases loaded for who else but Jake Arrieta. Swings at the first pitch, grounds it to the shortstop. It's bobbled a bit there by Crawford, and Jake Arrieta sees that bobble, he sees that little mishap, and he starts to hustle down the line, and he manages to beat the throw to first base. Even though the umpire at first called it originally an out, but on the replay, because they do challenge this play, he was safe by at least a couple inches. So Jake Arrieta gets on with an infield hit, I would say, on an error, and it scores a run with the bases loaded. So it's 1-0 Phillies at this point. Cesar Hernandez, next batter, next pitch at his at-bat, cracks a double down the right field line to score 2 runs. It's 3-0 Phillies at this point. Go to the bottom of the third, 2 men on for Scott Kingery, who's been struggling as of late. 2 men on, singles right up the middle, first pitch, and it's 5-0 Phillies. So the offense having themselves a game right now. So we go to the bottom of the fourth, Cesar Hernandez leads off. Full count, hits a bomb to the right field stands to make it 6-0. And then we have Rhys Hoskins, who gets a single, and then which brings up JT Realmuto to the plate. He has a line drive to center field, and on the play it looks kind of weird at first because I think Kevin Pillar originally had this ball, and I thought it bobbled out of his glove and out into the bushes in center field. But when you look at the replay, it kind of just barely passes by his glove and over the fence, and as he crashes into the fence, kind of hurts himself, and the glove comes off and lands over the fence. So JT Realmuto gets himself a 2-run home run there, and it's a 9-0 Phillies lead at this point. And you got Tom McCarthy, Ben Davis on the call. They're telling, okay, since the Phillies have a 9-0 lead at this point, Jake Arrieta can afford to make a mistake or two. And what do you know, in the top of the 5th inning, he makes a couple mistakes and he allows 2 runs. So at this point, 9-2 Phillies, and we bring in Jose Alvarez to finish off that 5th inning for Jake Arrieta. He gets himself into a little jam. The Giants start to hit them around a little bit, but he does manage to get out of the inning without allowing a run. So it's still 9-2 Phillies. Make a little defensive replacement, taking out Adam Hazley, bringing in Roman Quinn for center field. And Roman Quinn's first at bat in the bottom of the 5th inning cracks a ball to the opposite field, swinging at the first pitch and at the bomb. It's just, where do you see this power out of Roman Quinn to go opposite field, being aggressive on that first pitch? It was just, I did not imagine that from him whatsoever. And yeah, it's something that nice right there, and it was 10-2 Phillies at this point. Then the rest of the ball game, the bullpen's dealing, they're shutting down people. Giants get a couple chances here and there, but they can't manage to score any runs. The Phillies also get their chances, but they don't score at all. But it's a 10-2 lead at this point, so it really doesn't matter when the Phillies don't score runs. So, yeah, just an impressive ball game overall. And the pitching standpoint, Jake Arrieta, like I said, he goes 4 innings, allows 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, walks 1, strikes out 5. Pretty solid performance until that 5th inning where he was taken out. I guess the bone spur was bothering him a little bit earlier than usual. Kind of wanted to see Jake at least go 5-6 innings, but can't really predict what's going to happen with his bone spur. So if he gives you a nice solid 4 innings, and just thank God the bullpen came in and just shut down the rest of the door. And also thank God to the offense that stepped up big time in this ballgame, scoring 10 runs for him to make it a little bit more comfortable for the bullpen. Bring in Jose Alvarez, he comes in for that last inning, only allows 1 hit, allows a walk, and he basically just gets the last 3 outs in that 5th inning. We bring in Parker, who we just recently picked up. He goes an inning, allows 2 hits, strikes out 2. Nice little inning for him. Bring in Ranger Suarez for 2 innings, allows 3 hits, and records all the outs that he needs for those 2 innings. Then we bring in Juan Nicasio to shut down the door in the 9th inning. He does that with 2 strikeouts. So just a nice, impressive performance by the bullpen right there. And then a little bit stats from the offense. Cesar Hernandez goes 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Gene Segura has had a couple multi-hits in the past few games, but he goes 0 for 3 today with 2 walks. Rhys Hoskins goes 1 for 4. We do bring in Andrew Knapp later in this ballgame just because it was 10-2 at that point, and we'll just rest Rhys the rest of the ballgame. So Andrew Knapp goes 0 for 1. Bryce Harper goes 1 for 4 with a walk. JT Realmuto goes 3 for 5. He was a triple shy of the cycle. He had a single, double, and a home run. So really impressive ball game for JT Realmuto. He has a 5-game hitting streak after tonight. And I think in his past 7 ball games, he's had 4 home runs. So his bat is really starting to wake up after all these talks in the media, with the Phillies media talking about how very underwhelming JT Realmuto has been offensively this season. So it looks like his bat is starting to get hot. It's starting to wake up, getting a lot of runs scored here and hitting balls out of the ballpark. So hopefully he can keep up this stretch of play because we desperately need it from JT Realmuto. Scott Kingery, after struggling a little bit, gets a nice 3 for 4 day, brings that batting average back up to the high 270s. And then Adam Hazley, he goes 1 for 2, but then we bring in Roman Quinn, who got the home run. And then you got Michael Franco, who goes 0 for 4, and Jake Arrieta goes 0 for 2. So really big offensive night for the Phils. We had 12 hits. The Giants themselves, too, had 10 hits on the night, so they just couldn't score runs when needed to. And also, they had Rodriguez on the mound. He got lit up today by the Phillies offense. He goes 3 innings, allows 8 hits, 7 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, does not strike out anyone, and gives up a home run. Just really just the pitching in general from the Giants, just a lot of runs left and right. The bullpen didn't really help that much, and the Phillies bats just lit up the bullpen, and that's just really good sight to see. And like I said earlier in this video, we haven't seen this type of offense from the Phillies in a while, and it looked like every single person from the lineup had their own little piece to chip in. Even though there were some players who got multi-RBI games, everyone did their piece, except Michael Franco. He went an 0 for today, so he didn't really help that much. He popped out a lot, grounded out, and he struck out. So, yeah, Michael Franco's in a little bit of a struggle right now. And I think the update with Corey Dickerson, he's going through Phillies doctors right now, so he's not really activated to the roster at this point. But they did say when he comes to the ball club, and he will be activated to the 40-man roster, and he's going to play once he gets here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Corey Dickerson, whether we put him in left field, whether we put him in center. And let's see what happens, what shapes up the rest of the lineup. Does it move Scott Kingery back into the infield, and he plays a place like third base, second base more? Or do we leave Scotty in the outfield and we bench someone like Adam Hazley? So not really sure what's going to happen once Corey Dickerson gets here, but he is going to play every day once he is activated to the roster. And it has been confirmed for tomorrow's ball game against the Chicago White Sox that Jason Vargas is going to make his Phillies debut. So that's going to be an interesting ball game tomorrow. Jason Vargas' first appearance in a Phillies uniform. Hopefully it could be something good because I don't believe in Jason Vargas whatsoever. So hopefully he can prove us all wrong and give us a nice outing tomorrow against the Chicago White Sox. And just going into this weekend series as a whole against the White Sox, we desperately need to win this series because down the stretch we need to win a lot of series. That should be our primary focus, just win 2 out of 3 games of each series, or just 3 out of 4 when it's a 4-game series. Because we're going to face some tough opponents. I still think we have to face the Cubs. We got to face some American League opponents. It's just going to be a tough stretch down the road, and we desperately need to win series against tougher opponents. And hopefully the Phillies can do something to prove themselves against the tougher opponents like they did against a team like the San Francisco Giants, who are still technically in the race. Because with how much the National League is underachieving, a lot of their teams are still within the race of the wild card. Like teams like the Cubs who are underachieving, the teams like the Milwaukee Brewers are underachieving. It's giving teams a chance like the Giants, like the New York Mets, like other teams to crawl back into the wild card race. So it's really anyone's game at this point, and the Phillies need to step up their game to get themselves a nice little gap between the other teams. So hopefully off of this series win, they can build off something because they desperately need to. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this ball game? What are you guys' thoughts on Jake Arrieta's performance? What are you guys' thoughts on JT Realmuto's 3-for-5 day? Just what are your thoughts on the offense in general? And what do you think about going into the Chicago White Sox series this weekend? So don't forget to leave a comment, don't forget to drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.